Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar today. My name is Bryce, and I'm a co-founder and head of marketing at Delpha. And joining us on this webinar is my colleague Chetan, who's the head of customer success and our CRM manager. You'll also be hearing from him during the second half of today's session. So today's rundown will begin with a brief discussion on data quality and its key dimensions, and then we're going to share with you how we at Delpha are tackling this problem with AI and machine learning. So before we jump into this topic, I'd love to hear from all of you on what is your greatest data quality challenge today. So I've prepared a quick poll that I'm going to launch. I don't know if you could just take a second to give us feedback and respond to that. And so today, if you have any questions during the webinar, please type them into the chat window in your Zoom control panel. We will also answer your questions either live or at the end where we have a Q&A session. And this session is also going to be recorded, and I'll make sure to share it with you in a couple days. So in this webinar, we're going to go through 3 sections. First, we're going to start with an overview of data quality and some of the key problems. And then we're going to see a live demo of Delpha, and then we'll end with a live Q&A. So let's begin first with bad data. So today we're discussing data quality, but why? And the reason is because it has a huge impact on your company. And data today is what's driving our business operations, especially as most of us have either digitally transformed or are in the process to whether or not it was to survive the pandemic or for strategic purposes. But when this data decays or becomes bad, for many other reasons, it becomes very costly for the company. IBM estimates the bill for US companies to be around $3.1 trillion annually. It's also the #1 reason that CRMs fail, and it results in a 12% loss in annual revenue. But the one that all of us probably feel on a daily basis is that it stalls our productivity. Whether it's data research, validation, cleaning, etc., all of your data users and all functions are affected. So the problem can be simplified to a concept we're all aware of now, and that's GIGO, or garbage in, garbage out, as it accurately captures the problem of what happens when we input bad data into our operations. That is, we'll only get bad results. So we want to prevent bad data because it's very hard to reduce its impact once we've let data enter into our databases, operations, and analytics. So the challenge to data quality is having a comprehensive strategy that addresses all the key dimensions of data quality. And so we believe the following 6 dimensions have the greatest impact on a business. And I'll go through each one of them with an example to highlight their differences. So the first is completeness. Do your records contain values for all of your required fields? Whether it's web to leads, enrichment services, manual input, the first step is to ensure that you're collecting the data and that you have data for all of your required fields that are for your best practices, right? So for example, name, title, count, emails, and lead source. And once you have this data inputted, the next step is to determine whether or not that input is accurate. So are the inputs in the right fields? Are your names spelled correctly? Are they reversed by accident? So here you need to check, right? Here in our example, that it should be Samantha Parker, but for whatever reason, the name was reversed. So this would be inaccurate. Then the next one is to test whether or not your inputs are valid, right? Have you set up the rules and definitions for how names and emails should be formatted? Are there any unnecessary spaces or symbols within the data that's inputted? And so is this information going to be correct? This information may be correct in syntax, but it doesn't fulfill the rules that are determined by your CRM admins, for example. So in this example, you can see that Samantha actually has a space before her first name, and then she's in all caps. And this is going to have problems later on when you're either using analytics or automation tools. And so the next dimension is consistency. And so all of your records, are they using the same type of information within your accounts? For example, are you using personal emails or business emails or both? And do all of your records, are they consistent with what information is inputted? And the next one is determining whether or not these records are duplicates. Today there's some tools that use, Salesforce has its duplicate management that allows you to set up some rules to detect these duplicates. But, today even if you're using fuzzy logic, right, you need to have the inputted information for these to be able to better correctly detect these potential duplicates. And the last dimension is timeliness. So data decays at a surprising rate. For example, 7 to 10% of consumer and businesses relocate every year, and 4% of customer data becomes stale on a monthly basis, which means that for an annual rate, 25 to 50% of that data could be outdated. So you need a method or a process to ensure that your records are up to date in real time. So collecting good data from a machine or a website is easy, but the problem is when humans come into play. Humans are complex and error prone and directly impact your business's data quality. So either you decide to replace the human or you need to augment their abilities. And at Delpha, we decided to augment your Salesforce users with an AI solution to improve data quality by addressing all of these dimensions and increase their productivity for better business performance. Our solution is 100% native to Salesforce, complies with their high-level data security standards, and can easily be activated from the App Exchange. Delpha is lightning ready and can be accessed on all devices. So Delpha is successful in changing user behavior because it doesn't operate by rules, which can become complex, ignored, or even broken, but instead notifies and engages the end user in real time when an issue has been detected. So Delpha is your constant window of success for detection of data quality issues and recommends actionable solutions. Regardless of how your layouts change or Salesforce product updates, you will always have a familiar interface where you interact with Delpha. So inside each recommendation, Delpha synthesizes all the relevant information that the user needs to be able to determine the right course of action, and then instruct Delpha to execute the change directly to the account, contact, or opportunity in real time. The secret sauce to our solution is we only provide tailored recommendations to each end user based on their profile data, behavior in Salesforce, business data, and their interactions with our product. So it's an AI-powered recommendation system that helps users as they work in real time versus bombarding them with an aggregate figure of all of the problems in your CRM. So our solution isn't only meant to be used by a select few users. It's meant to empower all your Salesforce users in your org to address data quality collectively and consistently. So simple notifications aren't enough to elicit behavior. Today, it's about using conversational AI to converse, engage, and act. And so our ultimate goal is to help our clients achieve data excellence throughout their entire organization. Regardless of where the business is at in its data journey, Delpha can assist your users to make improvements today and prepare you for your next strategic step. So with that, I'm going to pass it off to Chetan, who's going to give you sort of a live product demo of what we're doing at Delpha.
Thanks, Bryce. That was an excellent presentation. As Bryce already introduced, I'm Chetan, the Customer Success Manager and the CRM Manager at Delpha. I'm going to give a quick product demo. The first step in improving data quality is identifying bad data. So as soon as you set up Delpha, Delpha assesses key dimensions of data quality, namely completeness, validity, accuracy, consistency, uniqueness, and timeliness in your Salesforce org using machine learning techniques to identify bad data and create intuitive data quality dashboards. Currently, we're on the contact data quality dashboard. Delpha has assessed 5 key fields, namely name, title, email, account, phone, against the 6 dimensions to identify key problems. The first chart here groups contacts based on the data quality score to give high level info on the overall data quality. A score of 20 is assigned to field if it meets all the key dimensions. So 5 fields together gets a maximum score of 100. As you can see here, most of the records have a score of around 60. The second chart provides a detailed description on the field and the dimension that is impacting the most of the records. You can see here around 1.4 thousand, 1.4K records have missing phone and missing job title. The Similarly, the dashboard also provides a detailed description and the information on the data quality score of each user and also the data quality improvement over time. Finally, the last row provides the number of records with key problem. As you can see, there are 165 records with misspelled names, 55 records with reverse name, and so on. So once these key issues are assessed, Delpha can guide the end user to fix them. Let's see how Delpha guides the end sales user to fix these issues. For the demo purpose, let's assume I have two prospects to work with today. The first one being Samantha Parker, whose name has been reversed to Parker Samantha. Every company's prospecting is different. Sometimes when you scrape data or when you import data from external sources, the name can get reversed. Again, this impacts accuracy and can have a big impact on your email generation and email campaigns. So let's see how Delphi is going to engage with the end user to fix this. As you can see here, the Delphi is at the bottom right corner. The Delphi assistant leverages AI to analyze data along with the user behavior to create personalized recommendation. The number 2 here indicates the prioritized recommendation for this user on this particular object. Again, like Bryce mentioned, the AI system ensures that the user is not bombarded all the data quality problems at once, but rather the key ones which can improve the data quality or the business efficiency to a greater extent. When I click on the Delphi, you can see two recommendations. The first one being the missing email and the second one being reverse name. I'm going to select the reverse name recommendation. The machine learning model analyzes the first name and last name independently and suggests the confidence score of the name being the first or the last name. In this case, the Parker has a confidence score of 2% being first name and 97% as the last name. Similarly, Samantha has a 99% confidence of being the first name and 0% last name. So Delpha also provides reference from external sources. In this case, it's Samantha Parker. So once the end user is sure or certain that the name has been reversed, the end user can take the action to reverse it. I'm going to click on the reverse it answer. And then since the email is directly dependent on the name, Delpha also checks with the end user to reset it. Again, I can either reset the email or in case I think it's a wrong suggestion, I can reject it. Just going to reset it. Again, as you keep feeding information to the Delpha keeps learning and keeps making better recommendation. So once the email is reset, again, the missing email recommendation pops up, which I can use to generate the professional email again. So again, the AI, the machine learning model generates the professional email address. As you can see here, the Delpha has generated an email address along with the confidence score. The confidence score again helps in the decision making of the end user. I'm going to click on the email. And then again, Delpha wants to be certain that if I really want to update it. So again, this is going to impact on the machine learning and the future recommendations. Once I click on it, you can see that the email has been updated. So now let me switch to my second prospect for the day, Michael Gilbert. Again, Delpha has analyzed that it has two recommendations for me. I'm going to click on it. The first one being missing email and the second one being duplicate record. Let's see how Delpha is going to engage with the end user to handle duplicates. When I click on the duplicate record recommendation, you can see that Delpha has detected one potential duplicate for Michael Gilbert. The duplicate name is Michelle Gibler. So the icons here indicates the fields that are used for comparison. And when you hover over the icons, it also shows the value of that field against the current record. In this case, the grayed icons indicate that the field has been missing in the potential duplicate. And the colored ones indicate that it has the same field. The colored icon with the red dot indicates that the fields are different. So this helps the end user to make a quick decision in case you want to progress further or not. I'm going to select the potential duplicate and proceed to the next screen to start comparing. In this screen, I can select the master record. Again, the Delpha capabilities goes beyond what Salesforce can achieve in detecting duplicates because again, we use the machine learning to detect duplicates accurately. In this, I can select the master record first. Once I select the master record, I can compare the two fields again and select the necessary field to be copied to the master record. I'm just going to select this email from the potential duplicate. At the end, I can either move to the next step to merge these duplicates, or in case after comparison, I feel that these are not duplicates, I can reject the duplicates. Delpha ensures that this recommendation is not shown again. I'm going to click on next and proceed further to start merging. Again, on the merging section, Delpha asks me that if I want to merge this record with the associated items or without the associated items. I'm going to click on merge the records along with the associated items. And at the end of the conversation, all the associated items will be merged to this record since I chose this as the master record. As you just saw that the recommendation, engagement, and execution happens in a single component instead of switching between tabs or pages. This again improves the end user efficiency to a great extent. So I've only shown a couple of recommendations uh, on this screen, but however, Delpha can assess the data quality on both standard and custom objects and all major Salesforce clouds. For example, on the account page, Delpha can help in entity matching within the same org or across external logs. Or on the service cloud, Delpha can help service users eliminate duplicate cases or upsell products as well. So all these conversations and recommendations, which I just showed you, are provided as a ready-made template by Delpha, which can be activated by the Delpha super user on the conversation builder. So let's jump into the conversation builder. Again, the conversation builder is a no-code interface that lets Delpha super user build new conversation or review existing templates. Currently we have around 15 templates. Each template is designed such that it identifies a key problem and automates a set of business processes. So again, the Delpha super user can either customize these templates or use these templates as reference to create their own templates. Let's have a look at one of these templates. I'm going to select the missing email template. The missing email template is used to detect the missing email and generate the right email. So this is the decision tree, as you can see. The conversation builder has two main components. The first one is the initialization. The initialization lets you define when, where, and to whom the conversation needs to be proposed. So the display rule helps you define the user profile and the page where the recommendation needs to be made. The condition lets you define the conditions for the trigger. In case you have complex conditions based on multiple fields or multiple objects, you can use the action type, which can either be flow or apex for the trigger. Secondly, the nodes. The nodes act as a redistribution point. It can either be the endpoint of the conversation or, again, the redistribution point. So it helps us define the flow of the conversation using messages, questions, and answers, which can be simple text messages. The answer is, again, the key component in the node. So you can define a static answer or a dynamic answer based on the values you receive. And once the answer is selected, you can choose the type of action that needs to be done. The action again can be the apex or the flows, or as simple as just opening a new tab. Once the conversation is complete, the Delpha super user or the admin can activate the conversation and start monitoring how the users are using the conversation. So let's go to the Delpha KPI dashboards to see how the admins or the managers can monitor KPIs. As you can see, the KPI dashboard is available again within your Salesforce org. The dashboard gives you the information about the number of conversations suggested to all your users, the number of conversations started by the end user, and also the number of conversations completed. It also gives you the information about the average time spent on the conversations or the conversations which are started on a daily basis. So the Delpha super user or the super admin can keep on improving the conversation based on the usage or help in the user in adoption. So the dashboard is elaborate. As you can see, it also provides information on activity based on the role, based on the profile. If I keep scrolling further, each conversation funnel gives me detailed information about each conversation itself. So these dashboards, along with the initial data quality assessment dashboard, which I showed in the beginning, can help you monitor data quality progress, user adoption, and also help you calculate the return on investment. So this was just dipping our toe on discovering how Delpha can help you achieve data excellence. Now I'm going to let Bryce take over the Q&A session.
Awesome. Thanks, Chetan. Great demo. I just love the product. It's so cool and what it can do. And it's unfortunately, you can't show all of the features. But there were a couple questions that came in. So let's just take these maybe one by one. And so the first one, maybe it wasn't clear, but can Delpha detect problems in real time, or does it have to be installed and it needs to analyze the data? There's sort of a time that needs to be invested before you can start using Delpha.
Like I said, like I showed initially, Delpha assesses the data and then gives you conversation. But yeah, Delpha does detect problems in real time and helps fixing it. Delpha detects problem either during creation or updation of records and guides the end user to fix it.
Okay, perfect. And in terms of security or data security, is the data secure, or what happens to the data that for users who are using Delpha?
Yes, whereas the data is completely secure. As an App Exchange app, like we showed, the Delpha has passed all the Salesforce security review, which means that it matches the Salesforce security standards. We do not store any personal data or business data outside Salesforce. When data needs to be processed outside the Salesforce by the AI model, again, it is encrypted and securely processed, but not stored.
Okay. And the next question is about, it looks like it's about limitations. So is there any restrictions in terms of how much data Delpha can process? So if is there a limitation on the number of records, you know, if it's a large enterprise or they have a large CRM, for example?
No, currently we don't have any limitation on the number of records. Like our data processing infrastructure has been built with, again, security and scalability in mind. So as of today, we can scale the system to any number of records.
Okay. And there was a question when you were showing the conversation builder with the templates that come with Delpha ready-made. Can those be edited or customized? And continuing off that, there was a second part. Can you create a whole new, brand new conversation that may be different than what's provided inside the pre-made templates?
Yes, for sure. The thing is, like, there are two permission sets. One is the end user who can't edit this conversation, and then there's the second one, the Delpha super user. The Delpha super user is basically like an admin, so he can create his own conversations or use the existing templates to edit them as per their requirements. Yeah, he can also build his own conversations.
Okay, and we just got a new question on how is Delpha different than the Salesforce duplicate management tools, or the tools that come with Salesforce?
Okay, the Salesforce is good at detecting duplicates, but there are quite some limitations. For example, not all fields support fuzzy logic matching, and Salesforce still use duplicate rule-based methods for detecting duplicates. So every time the duplicate method fails, the admins need to go back and change the duplicate rules. And also there is no option to reject the duplicate suggestion for a specific record in case the sales user or service user wants to save that record for any other reason. So, but on the other hand, the Delpha uses the machine learning to detect duplicates on any object. So as the end user keeps using it, the model gets better and better and keeps making accurate detections.
Okay. And for the reporting, are the reports allowed to, I guess the question is about on duplicates. So we have the assessment. Is there in the reports or the dashboards, is there one that you can specify to sort of manage or assess all of the duplicates that have been detected inside Delpha or inside your Salesforce?
Yeah, we can show the number of duplicates record, but currently I don't have the exact chart for the duplicates, but yeah, we do have it. It's not there on this current demo right now.
Okay. And I think maybe the last question is how much time from deciding to install or activate Delpha, how much time does it take to get all of your users activated and up and running?
The process
So it's
itself
like
is
setup.
supposed to be, the process itself is supposed to be very smooth, which I would assume like in under a day it should be up, and like the end user should be able to use it freely. Like the process won't take much time actually. It depends upon the number of use cases they exactly have and the number of users. But for the end user itself, using the Delphi is super simple. So looking at the end user adoption point of view, it should not take a lot of time at all. So it should be less than a day for sure.
Awesome. I think we got through all of the questions, but if there was any outstanding questions, or if you want to reach out to us to meet with us in person, you can either find more information on our website, or you can scan this QR code and book a one-on-one meeting with us, which would be more than happy to meet you and discuss Delpha in further detail. But I'm going to conclude this session now. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time.